What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 52 of Lyon Live here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are good. Today we are back once more, and well, it's transfer window time. Just about. Yes, today we will be entering the January transfer window, and there may be a little bit of business. We have some money to spend, to be fair. Whether or not we do anything with it remains to be seen. You can see actually Javier Cortez won Best Player at the Club World Cup. The Mexican playing for Santos Laguna. Oh, okay, he wasn't playing for Corinthians at all. Why did I assume it was Corinthians? Either way, he's playing left back for them. We didn't even meet them. I mean, weird that they did as well as they did. I guess they lost to Corinthians, but he did well in the earlier stages. So he gets player of the tournament. Can't help but feel like our players were robbed a little. Although, given the fact that we won 2 games 1-0, perhaps we don't deserve to win anything on an individual basis. It was a little underwhelming last time out, it would be fair to say. But anyway, to wrap up the first half of the season, we have a game against Saint-Etienne, who are down in 18th. We have already met them once this season, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, this is going to be the last game before the Christmas break, and the transfer window is on the verge of opening. We have got money to spend, as I already mentioned. And spend it, we may well look to do. You can see we've got their own derby here against Saint-Etienne, our big rivals. I want to beat them, obviously. When you realise we've got £81 million in the banks, you do wonder, maybe we could ask for a little bit more money. We can ask for more wage budget. I'm going to be a bit cheeky here. I'm going to try and shrink the wage budget as much as possible and then ask for an increased wage budget. I don't actually know if that makes a difference, but it's something that I've always done. And well, let's see if we can get the extra money. And, well, we didn't initially, but we said we really needed it. And Jean-Michel Aulas has gone, yeah, you know what? Let's have some more wage budget. How much have they given us? Not like 30 grand. And I was hoping for a little bit more, I'll be honest. But, I mean, extra money to spend is extra money to spend, I guess. We've ended up with about 1 million or so extra pounds to spend there. It's not a monumental sum of money. In my head, I was dreaming of having a few £100,000 made available. Not quite what's happened, despite the fact we do have that £81 million just sitting in the bank there. Apparently, Heitinger would be a good addition to our coaching team. Of course, former Evertonian. We already have the maximum amount of coaches, and I'm very happy with our current coaching staff, so I'm not going to look at that. Although this guy, Carlos Vargas of Milan, is available. So, you know what? Oh my gosh, he wants a lot of money. But you know what? Is he worth 1.2 million? A bit more than I'm willing to spend. Looking at it, we've got a lot of scouting spots. What are we doing here? Staff search. Staff search right now. Let's get some scouts, shall we? You might notice that on a few of the profiles that I clicked on, I do currently have the player IDs and staff ID numbers showing when on certain profiles. I've been doing some skinning work. If you don't know, fun little fact. Basically, every single staff member, stadium, club has a unique ID, and that ID is used for graphics. So, for example, Pedro Ferreira's unique ID is the number you can see up there, and there is a face pack image with that number that hooks up to the game, which is how face packs work. But yeah, I've been doing some work behind the scenes. You know the deal with me. I like to fiddle around with FM and work on graphic packs and help out with databases and stuff. There might be a project in the pipeline that has required me to do that stuff. Anyway, looking at it here, there's some pretty good scouts available. The tricky thing with scouts is you want scouts who obviously have very good attributes, but you also want to have quite good knowledge of a few different areas. There's kind of a balance to be struck here. This guy, Guzman, does look very, very good. So we're going to bring him in. I'm hoping as we go through this list, we're going to have a few, perhaps, scouts here who have pretty good knowledge of a few different areas. Like this guy, Wolfgang Grobe. What a lovely... He looks a bit like my uncle. I know that's a weird... People are going, who's your uncle? I'm not going to go into details. He just looks like my uncle in a weird way. This guy, Italian, age 69, giggity. Limited knowledge, and this guy Herrera, I mean, he just looks wise, doesn't he? He's got very, very good attributes, great knowledge of South America and Portugal. He's 73. He doesn't want to retire. Have a fight. He wants a 5-year he wants to be here till the retirement home come calling. There are a few other members here, but I don't know if they're going to want to come in as scouts. Edin Terzic, formerly of, well, you can see here, assistant manager of West Ham. I guess he worked under Slavan Bilic. He actually looks very, very good as a scout. The question is, does he want to be a scout? We're going to lock in that role. I'm going to have to offer him a bit more, I feel like, in the way of money. Perhaps that's a little bit too much money to offer him, but he's loving it, and we're going to have him in. There's also this guy, Oleg Hyovinsky. I don't know. I will call you Oleg. He looks good. Lots of 20s is what I'm noticing with him, and he wants to. He's happy to be a scout as well. And be a scout you shall. Not even the craziest wage demands. We'll offer him a big rise just because I want him to sign. Oh, I've accidentally misclicked there. I don't really want him as my under-19s coach, and now he's not going to want to renegotiate with us. I mean, I will say, of all the nations he had knowledge in, I don't know how many players we're going to be getting from Kazakhstan and Belarus, so maybe it's not the biggest loss in the world. One thing that is worth doing is if there's a certain area you want some better knowledge in, you can obviously set the nationality to be certain areas. If we just look at our scouting page, if we go to... Where is the screen I'm looking for? There's the one where it's like the knowledge. I genuinely can't remember where it is. That's really awkward. Most screens are the knowledge tab. There you go. Well done, Jack. You're a genius. So you can see here the knowledge we have of different nations and where that knowledge comes from for different areas. So we don't have any knowledge of India. We have quite a lot of knowledge of Argentina and Brazil. However, maybe some of these, the North America region, we can have a bit of a better knowledge in. Wouldn't mind maybe getting in an Eastern European scout as well. Maybe even a South American... South African scout as well would be useful. So what we'll do is we'll actually go regions here. And we're looking for a North American scout. And we'll just go through here and see who gets thrown up. So Mark Presant here. USA, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras. He ticks a few boxes. Also has knowledge of Colombia, which is something that we don't have. So I like the look of him a lot. We'll give him a little bit of a wage rise. He's already wanting a 5-year deal. And I would kind of like maybe one more North American. Maybe someone with a bit more knowledge of Mexico and Canada would be nice. Whether or not it's realistic for us to be able to find someone knowing those nations is kind of a different task. Tony Khan here, you have a very interesting background of knowledge. Never going to be a scout for us. A few more here. Zanzi, American, Rayner. Very similar knowledge. Very, very similar knowledge to the guy we've already approached. Also, Shad Forsyth there. Okay, I feel like we might not be finding another North American. I would like to get someone with a better knowledge of South America. We already have a pretty good knowledge of Brazil, but more knowledge of Brazil is always pretty useful. And I'm hoping that there might be a few South American coaches or rather scouts here who have knowledge of a few different nations within South America. We are going to have pretty good coverage, I think, at this point of Brazil, Argentina and Colombia, which, to be fair, are probably the three nations you'd want to have the most knowledge of. But if there is anyone out here who could be a good little fit to help us bolster that knowledge more, of course, it's perhaps worth going in for them. I'll tell you what, let's not look for Brazilian. Let's look for... South America, Argentinian. Any Argentinian scouts? There's a few. David Garay here. He's the head of youth development at Newell's. What's his knowledge like? He knows Uruguay. We don't have any knowledge of Uruguay. He's not that great though. Let's bump up the knowledge here a little and just see who stands up. This guy looks pretty good. Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina. They're three nations that I know that we don't have knowledge of. So we'll give him a contract offer. I could take on 6 new scouts. I feel like that might be the 6th one that we're looking at. If we actually look at the transfers in, we can have a look at this. Let's just check. I think we have 6 coming in now. If we look here, more than 6. I can't count. Although one of them was the botched offer. So we have done 6. Excellent. Bolstering the scouting team. Hopefully some of them are going to want to join us. You can see we've got all these other scout reports coming in. Of course, we've been kind of mass scouting players in advance of all their contracts expiring. The transfer window is going to be opening soon. And we may be a little bit active in it. We'll have to see how things go here. Anyway, against Saint-Etienne, our rivals who are struggling a lot, we're going to play our best 11, although Addons is struggling a little bit, so Lucas Romero can start there. Fekir, part of me doesn't want to play Fekir. Could he drop out of this game? I know he's our key player, but Awar can definitely come in, I feel like, and do a job for us there. After this game, we have got a nice long break. I say that, it's not the longest break in the world, but just over 2 weeks to recover. This is a big game for us, though, just looking at the league table. Obviously, we've fallen a bit behind in terms of the fixtures we've played. We're now playing 2 games fewer than both PSG and Monaco. Whilst we do have those game in hand, it's worth just noting the fact that the gauntlet has been set now. PSG have said, hey, you know, you've got a good team, but if you want to come here... If you want to come here and win the league, you're going to have to win these games that you've got in hand. You know, they're kind of continuing to apply pressure on us. In this situation, I'd always rather be the team kind of setting the target for the other team rather than being the team chasing. It's just a kind of a mindset thing. I like to be ahead. I like to have, you know, that kind of security. Obviously, when you are the team playing earlier, if you slip up, suddenly it's really beneficial for the team chasing. But PSG have largely looked pretty solid this year. And in their kind of last few games they've played where we've not been playing, they have continued to pull away. So anyway, we do need a good result here. Ideally, of course, we'd see PSG and Monaco slip up today as we play this game. That would help us significantly. But yeah, we're playing the more direct attacking style of play. We have played the controlling system a fair bit of late. It was a little underwhelming last episode in the Club World Championships. I want to go more direct. I want to see what we can do. We'll keep an eye on Awar, who is playing that centre-attacking mid-role. I mean, we've got 3 men closing down the ball there. Slightly controversial, slightly worrying that is our defensive organisation. I will say that today we may not even get another match played. This will probably be a slightly shorter episode of Lyon Live. I'm getting back in the rhythm of doing daily uploads. But today, as I sit and record it, it's gone 11 PM. I've got work tomorrow morning and I need to make sure the video actually is done and up for you guys. As Memphis, well, he's done his job, hasn't he? Lovely finish there on the half volley. First shot of the game, 5 minutes gone. It is going to be Olympique Lyonnais, I was about to say uno, that's Spanish. Saint-Etienne, nul. Beautiful French. Beautiful Jack. Sorry, beau français. I apologise to all the French viewers out there. You are now cringing. And I don't blame you. Désolé. Right, there's no more French. It's not a good look. Eder Militao whips in. Gabel's looping header. Loops wide, though. I did think as he leapt for that, I thought that was his moment. Last year's Football Manager song, you know, the "This is the moment." You know the rest. That was playing in my head. And all songs were sad until Kingsley Coman came to love you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because you didn't play Football Manager last year, there was a theme tune for the game, like in the main menus and stuff. Don't ask. There's a reason why it isn't back in FM19. It became a little bit of the meme, I feel like. Although there was something weirdly, I want to say, it helped me having the theme tune in a way, because it reminded me to turn off sound for Football Manager. Obviously, we've all been jump scared by the starting whistle of the first game of, you know, a new Football Manager cycle. The music reminded me to turn it off before I got the jump scare. It's by the way, it's 3-0 now after 12 minutes. It's gone quite well. I think is probably the modest way of describing this match so far. Saint-Etienne showing why they are perhaps a little bit in danger of the drop here. We're looking very, very solid indeed. They're playing this very weird 4-1-3-2 formation. Not overly keen on it. Mendy's very keen on it as he whips the ball in. Coman, oh my gosh, how has that gone in? Answers on a postcard, I genuinely have no idea. I think that is some atrocious goalkeeping. Is it Ruffier in goal for them? I don't know if he's still here. I mean, it's a bold player, so it's probably Ruffier. I can't think of many other bold French goalkeepers other than Fabien Barthez. Bold French goalkeepers. There's definitely more out there other than Ruffier and Fabien Barthez. There's probably some really obvious one I'm not thinking of. I mean, if you have any that have come to your mind, put them in the comments. It's become a quiz, this episode. It's become a quiz. I do feel a bit bad. It's 4-0 after 20 minutes. I'm just thinking of The Simpsons, you know, the stop, he's already dead. Although, Berisic, maybe it's not dead. Continue punching it on the ground, this Saint-Etienne body. They've scored a goal. It is Ruffier in goal. He's got the assist, to be fair to him. He's heard me slating him. I'm not sure about the defence there. Does someone want to explain to our defence that the whole, you know, statue challenge thing, the fad, you know, it died out about 2 years ago. The whole thing where everyone would just freeze on the spot. Looked like that was what we were trying to emulate there. Maybe our attack can show us how it's done. We're on the attack. Wallace heads over the bar. He had a chance at redemption there, a shot to make things right, and unfortunately his header was pretty poor. I did actually notice there, Saint-Etienne have got Morotan, I think is his name, in the centre of the midfield. He's a Romanian centre mid, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very good player in this year's Football Manager. I want to check out, how good is he? You can see here, 21. He looks pretty solid. He would never get into our team, I don't think, and actually he's on loan from Arsenal, who have picked him up. So maybe he is quite good. Certainly his current ability wouldn't be good enough for our current team, and I feel like when you consider some of the players we've got loaned out, like Shadas and Mario Ferreira, he probably wouldn't fit in ahead of those players into our team. Anyway, we're going to VAR. Is a penalty been given? Nope, VAR said it's not a penalty. I mean, that's dramatic. That's like rarer than an eclipse to see VAR saying, hey, that wasn't a penalty in Football Manager. It's 4-1 at the break. Kingsley Coman and Depay on either wing are trying to sniff out hat-tricks. I'm going to make a change. Gabel's been a little underwhelming. Let's bring in Moise Kean for the second half, shall we? I want to rotate these two guys as our strikers. Longer term, you know, we could very easily play a 2-striker system with both of them. But in the here and now, especially with this game being... well, it looks like dead and buried now. I feel like it's worth just bringing in Keane, giving him some equal game time, you know, giving them kind of 50-50 share of the action. Maybe one of them, well, I was going to say maybe one of them can get a goal. Obviously, only one of them can get a goal now. It's Moise Kean. He's got the chance to maybe earn himself a starting spot, as Ruffier has almost got another assist. Defensively, slightly calamitous again. That big, long ball down the middle, down the spine of our team, causing us problems again. I mean, the good news is it's 4-1, so I'm not going to overly kind of worry about things, but there is definitely room for improvement in this game, despite the fact we are 4-1 up. You can't help but feel like, having scored 4 goals in, the first kind of 20 minutes, perhaps we've taken things a little easier since then, although Memphis and, well, Coman at the back post are both going to want hat-tricks, and while Moise Kean, he wants in on the action. That was a lovely, lovely finish. Mendy with the assist. An 8th goal of the season for Keane. His goal-scoring tally is slowly, it feels like, creeping up, and maybe even starting to get very close to Gabel's starting tally in terms of goals for the season so far. But lovely header right into the top bins. Ruffier tried to get a hand to it, but it was not going. And I feel like the game is probably over now. Now, to be fair, it was... I mean, maybe I'm speaking to... It's this long ball down the middle. It's causing us worries. Kaziri, I mean... Oh, Kazri even. Kaziri. Kaziri sounds better. Someone contact him on Twitter and let him know to change his name. I make it sound like he's a superhero and he can just change his name at will. He definitely isn't. Anyway, let's make some more changes. Lucas Romero. I wasn't going to play Lucas Romero, and then I dicked around with the starting a lineup and stuff before the game started and clearly ruined it all. So actually, Militao played, risking a bit of an injury. That is a misplay by me, but fortunately it's not going to cost us. You might have noticed I'm playing Markovic at ball-winning midfielder. He can't play centre-mid, but I want to give him game time and 2 starts on a booking. So it's just it probably actually isn't the logical thing to do would be to play Markovic maybe at right back, and then Romero can play in the middle. That is the more logical thing to do. I'm just not thinking straight. Sleep deprivation is clearly kicking in today. Anyway, Mendy whips him. Keane, what can you do? Absolutely nothing is the answer. Although Lucas Romero is like, boss, I'll keep it in the danger area. I'll keep it alive. Markovic at right back, what can you do? Really pushing Saint-Etienne onto the back foot here. Wallace, I mean, we could be caught out here. There isn't a clean sheet to lose, but at the same time, I would like to keep it to 1 goal, if we can. The Bozok, with a guy who I can only assume is Polish, and I don't want to butcher his name. Then Moritan, I mean, he scored. This is what I get for saying that he didn't look that good. Third goal of the season. Not sure about the goalkeeper. And I don't feel like that effort should have crept in. But ultimately, it has. Fair play. Good finish into the bottom corner. It isn't really going to matter. It's 5-2 here. The game is up. Maybe I should have changed and kept Markovic rather at ball winning midfielder. Then that never would have happened. It's like a time travel thing, you know, where you change one thing and it changes the future. If I hadn't made the logical change, maybe we would have seen a hat-trick for Coman or Depay. I mean, we'll never know. There is a little bit of a concern that if they score another here, suddenly with 5 minutes left, it's only a two-goal margin and we're in trouble. We'll hope that isn't what it's going to come to as Coman breaks through. Go on for the hat-trick, hits it. I expected it just to fly into the top corner, I'll be honest. That was not what I envisaged. Perhaps still a chance of the hat-trick though. That Ndombele almost certainly going to go on his own from there. You could see it in his eyes. They lit up as the goal appeared at his mercy, but he's skewed the shot wide there. Now we've got another chance. Ndombele, I mean, this time he finds the back of the net. What a finish that is. Two players who have been at the club a long time in Awar and Ndombele, and certainly two players who I hope will continue to be at the club for the future and beyond. On the half volley, lovely finish. That's God, what a routine that is. I love that. 6-2. It's been a long match. Sometimes in Football Manager, the matches just go on for a while. This has been one of those. There's been 33 shots, 15 on target. Ruffier's conceded 6, but it's still got a 7.1 rating. I do feel like goalkeeper ratings have got slightly better in Football Manager since January. Equally, he's conceded 6 and got a 7.1. It's a teeny tiny bit underwhelming, isn't it? Anyway, in the other games, you can see PSG picked up a win. How did Monaco get on? Let's have a quick look at their schedule. I think they won. They played Nice, which I can't see the result of for some reason. Am I blind? Probably. I've forgotten to do a team talk. I've just gotten the coach at the end of the game and left the players. Monaco won 5-1 against Nice. I mean, Nice, you were meant to do us a favour. You've done us absolutely nothing. Lots of our loanees playing plenty of football, which is good. Durand, I mean, look at him. He's 16, regular for the under-21s national team. He's going to be a top-draw goalkeeper. I feel like he is the natural successor to Lopez at this club. He looks like he's going to be top draw. A few other players playing some good amount of first-team football. Coman did pick up man of the match there. Zidane's been spotted at our ground. Who is Zidane the manager of? United. You might be looking at Aouar and Toussaint. I mean, hold your horses, Zizou. That ain't happening. But anyway, the transfer window is going to be opening any time now. And we have money to spend. I've got to think about potentially what I might want to do with it. I mean, have we got any players with contracts expiring soon? Bertrand Traore's got not too long left on his. Lots of players in our team wanted. I'm not usually one keen to do transfer business in January, but if the right offer came in, I might have to consider it. We've got all these scouts that we've approached who are all going to be joining us. I'm hoping that they're going to come in with some fantastic suggestions. That'd be the dream, wouldn't it? Sending them all on courses. Bertrand Traore wants to talk about leaving for lack of game time. I'll tell him that I might move him on for the good of his career. That might seem like a weird one to do, but he's valued very highly. He's still got that release clause in his contract. This year, he's really not done a great deal for us. And that is just because Kingsley Coman's come into the team and kind of taken up that spot and hit the ground running. Let's offer him out. I'm going to offer him out high to begin with. I did see a YouTube comment yesterday, and I don't mean to call this person out because you brought up a good point. I feel like sometimes with my videos, I don't explain what I'm doing with Lyon Live because very often I'm doing something intentionally. And the comment was basically to do with the fact I think I was offering Bertrand Traore out for less than his asking price, and then sometimes I'd offer players out for way more, even if the initial asking price was like lower. The way that Football Manager works with asking prices is you always want to start higher. It's always a disadvantage to offer out a player too low and then maybe reject the offer and try and renegotiate higher. So I'd always, try and, I guess, play the system in that regard. And equally, with Vinicius Jr., I'm not expecting to get Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid for less than £60 million. But what I'm trying to do is just unsettle him. So the reason I'm putting in stupid bids below 20 million is because they're actually not that far away from his asking price. Or sorry, not his asking price, but his market value of 11 million. Whilst it's still massively below his asking price, I'm really hoping that he's eventually just going to force a move through. The asking price will plummet down through the ground and we can pick him up. Anyway, Aouar is asking for a new contract. He's got 4 years left on his current deal. Equally, I don't really want to lose him. I'm a little bit scared of how much money he's going to want here. £87,000 a week. If we can get it down to 70, it's workable, but 87 is too high. It just is. He also wants a wage increase after international appearances. Yeah, jog on, son. I'll go as high as 70 and not 1 penny over. He's now throwing in stuff like yearly wage rises. Look, I'll give you a big international cap bonus. But the appearance fee's got to go down. Man, he is negotiating hard here, isn't he? Well, his agent is. £70,000 a week for Aouar. I can't really afford not to renew his contract, and I want to keep him happy. We've got a lot more to lose by him being unhappy at the club, particularly because I do feel like he is the natural successor longer term to Fekir, and Fekir has got some interest in him, and I do fear that we might get a really good bid for him in the not so distant future. I mean, what? Aouar's 22, homegrown at club, very, very talented player, of course. I can't really afford not to lose him, so I'm going to have to pay a bit more than I perhaps would for another different type of player. Anyway, we've got a few people joining. Prisant is joining us. The guy who I accidentally approached with the wrong role wants to join. I've now got to give him the rather embarrassing call to explain I didn't want him for the job that we offered him. We've got lots of scouts joining us though, which is only going to be a good thing. We might not set up the new scouting assignments today. I might just leave that a little bit. But, well, it's not a bad thing to have a load of scouts. The bigger the scouting team, the better, frankly. Should allow us to cover a lot of ground, hopefully unearth some really good talent. How realistic that is and how actually that comes into fruition, we will find out in due course, I guess. But anyway, a little bit of mashing of continue now. The 1st of January is already on the horizon. Moreno, he's got a virus. No, not Club Doctor. Go home. Go home, Alberto. Oh my gosh, everyone's turning up with the flu. Right, Edda, go home. Does anyone else work an office job like me where people come in when they've even got like a common cold? And I know like you don't want to miss days off because of a cold. But like you don't want to infect that entire rest of the office either. It's what I feel like. You know, office manager is just like, right, go home. Go home. Did Bertrand Traoré have any interest in him? PSG is still possibly interested. See, he has got that buyback clause with Chelsea, which has always kind of been in the back of my mind anyway. So with him wanting to leave, you know, it could be a good opportunity to see, can we get the money for him? With it being the January transfer window, generally speaking, it feels like there's always a little less money around and free to be spent, I guess, at this time of year. So that might limit us ever getting a bid, you know, in the region of what I'm looking for. Mendy has fractured his ribs. We can send him to a specialist. We'll send him to a specialist. The reason it's good to send a player to a specialist is because it can avoid the injury being a recurring injury. You know, if you send them to a specialist, the it eliminates that risk of the injury cropping up again. Mendy's going to be out though for 2 weeks. He may even be back. Maybe not for the Saint-Etienne game actually now I look at it, but certainly for the first league game after Christmas, which is a little way away yet. I just realised we've got Diaz joining us. That is an exciting time. Trincão's got food poisoning. I mean, what is happening? We've got the virus, flu, food poison. Everyone's just getting poorly. But yes, we've got Diaz joining us. That's exciting. Lots of players here who we were scouting. I think all of these, their contracts are probably now expiring. So we should probably just see if there's any players who I want to just offer contracts to. I was looking obviously at Luka Jovic, and I think it was it Luka Jovic or the other one? There's a few different Serbian players, so I apologise. It isn't Luka Jovic I'm thinking of at all. I don't think. It's the one he's playing for Benfica. We'll find him in a sec. We can clarify. Will he show up? That's the next question. Maybe he got a new contract signed. Let's put age is at most 23. What shows up? Lots of players who we didn't scout. Yeah, he's Luka Jovic. I'm not going crazy. He hasn't really developed that much in this specific save game, but he only wants £20,000 a week. Mate, that's actually that's really, really good. I'm willing to up it a little bit, but the fact he's willing to come in as a backup player is huge. He could be a very, very nice addition. I know he's not developed that well in this specific save, but he's a consistent performer, quite an intelligent footballer. I like the look of him. He's not developed incredibly. I'm not going to pretend he has. But as a striker, he could be quite useful backup to Goebbels and potentially Moise Kean. Potentially. That would also mean that Tizzy gets less first team opportunities. Potentially. Is that negative? It probably is. I like Luka Jovic as a player. I've not really had a chance to use him in FM at all. So the fact he's available in this situation makes me more tempted to go in for him. Let's up the age just a little bit up to 27. A few more players available here. Are there any that super jump out to me? We've looked through a lot of these. Gabriel Barbosa was the one I was thinking about. The more I look at him, the more I just feel like he's not actually going to offer us a great deal. Lo Celso could be an interesting one. He's a good centre mid. He's a good versatile centre mid. What kind of wages does he want? £86,000 is just way too much. João Mario doesn't look particularly great either. Llorente at Real Madrid B. No. Underwhelmed. Casey Palmer. I'll just take a look at him again. Just doesn't look that great. I feel like Luka Jovic is the kind of real standout player. Rafa here looks pretty good, to be fair. I don't really need any more talent though in the wide areas. I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the transfer list. See who might be available. We'll sort by asking price here just in case there's players we've not scouted. Players like Rudiger available. He doesn't actually look that great here. £34 million asking price, of course, massively outside of our budgets. Got players like Rob Holding. Could be an okay defender, although I don't know if we're going to need him. Oliver's a player obviously we've been looking at for a long time. Malcolm's an interesting one. Malcolm is a very interesting one. Asking price of 41 million is far too high. Vinicius Jr. obviously still available. What's his asking price looking at right now? 61 million. I know it's Maitland-Niles here. He's just a great kind of flexible player. He's okay. He's not that great, is he, in this specific save? Andre Silva. Looks solid. Well, pretty complete player. Not really stand out in any one department for me. I like to have, if I really have one part of them that really jumps out at me. Harry Wilson is a player who I've always had good experiences with in FM this year, but his asking price in this situation is very high. Also doesn't look like he's developed that well. I wonder if he's had a few issues with injury. I'm underwhelmed at the offerings. I mentioned, by the way, about players joining us. David Diaz is joining us. He looks like he could be a very, very good little centre-back, the 18-year-old. Almost certainly a squad player for us. We've also got Johnson joining us, who I want to say is a Nigerian centre-mid off memory. Awar's happy with a new contract. The team of the year has been announced for Kier was amongst the substitutes. I mean, that's a little underwhelming, isn't it? Baudio. Oh, did this? I didn't realise this guy joined us immediately when we signed him. He came in as part of the Joker transfer window. He looks exceptional. Can we discuss him? Can we? He looks good, doesn't he? Can play right back and left back. Those mentals are just very good. Very, very good mentals for a 15-year-old. £2 million paid. We'll see if he can live up to his potential, but even if he doesn't, I feel like he's definitely worth a punt at the price we've got him in for. It's a pretty good deal as far as I'm concerned. Real Madrid declare interest in Langley. I mean, less of that. Hold yo horses. Please stop me. I'm going to up the asking price. 80 million. Brought him in for 8 million from Barcelona, who paid big money for him. He's done very well over 2 years for us. I really don't want to sell him. I really don't. I'll tell you one thing I love about him. Look how many French players there are in this team. Like, very rarely do you end up with a team with so many kind of homegrown at club, homegrown at nation players and players of the nation that you are, managing within. I'm just wondering if there's any good transfer listed French players to go for. Dembele's still transfer listed. A few older players for a bit of experience, perhaps. Areola could come in as a goalkeeper. I mean, I don't really need to replace Lopez. I feel like the asking price is going to be way too high. 34 million. It's a little out of our budget, is what you'd have to say. What about contract status expiring in 6 months? Well, I did notice, actually, Modeste was there. Interesting. Didn't he have lots of contract controversy before returning to Germany earlier on this season? I feel like there was something really crazy that happened there where he had to get like clearance from FIFA to return and he wasn't getting paid his wages or something. I don't know the ins and outs, to be fair. Gonalons' contract is expiring. He is homegrown at club. He has good mentals. Could he be a good alternative to Glenn Kamara? Glenn Kamara is trying to force a move. 31 is Gonalons worth a punt. He is homegrown at club. And then I could move on Glenn Kamara. And Gonalons is definitely like a ready-made alternative, it feels like, to Toussaint. You know, they're probably not that different. I think Toussaint's probably a little bit better everywhere. Yeah, you can see it. Toussaint's just a little bit better everywhere. But in terms of as a direct backup, player with experience, could be a good shooter as well. We do have quite a young squad. A 31-year-old homegrown at club Gonalons might not be the worst addition. I know his actual scouting score is low. What's his current injury? I should have checked that. He's had a damaged kneecap, so he's been out for a little while with that. But I feel like he's worth a punt. Karamo. I feel like I've seen this guy develop quite nicely in Football Manager. He looks okay. I don't know how much he'd actually ever play for us. He is happy to come in as a backup player. Of course, we brought in players like Nkunku last year, you might remember. I think he's actually in our reserve team. Of course, if I'm not mistaken, he missed the penalty for PSG to lose in the cup final recently against Stade de Reims. Is that right? Please let me know. I feel like it is. If I'm just completely talking out my anus, I apologise. But obviously, we brought this guy in on a free deal. He's not played for us at all in our senior team. This is where we try and now turn a profit on the players that we signed at this time last year. Francisco Ramos as well. We'll offer him out for 7.5 million. Joined us on a free deal. Was it a free? I feel like it was a free that we joined him. He joined us on it. It was. Not massive wages at all. £9,000 a week. Heck, if we can get an offer of even half of his asking price, it's probably working out pretty nicely for us from a financial perspective. Anyway, new year means lots of items come in. We've had an offer for Langley. It's £39 million from Chelsea. That is not good enough as far as I'm concerned. A few loan offers for DJ, but we can't loan out any more players. Joseph Johnson has joined us. He looks like a pretty good goalkeeper, to be fair to him. He's an international for Nigeria as well. So, I mean, he can't be bad, can he? He's joined us for £350,000. And also David Diaz has joined us. He looks like a good little centre-back for the future. Not the best ball player necessarily. 9 passing, 10 vision though I think is workable going forward. Not sure if we'll register him because he will take up a non-English player slot. Oh, sorry, not non-English. A foreign player spot. Non-kind of French and national. Anyway, apparently Marin, our own player, got goal of the month. I want to take a look at this. It was against Stade de Reims for Nice. Playing out on the left-hand side. What did he do? Where is he? Is this him here? It is. What's he going to do? First time? No, gets one touch. Bang. I said bang, expecting him to, unleash a thunderbolt into the top corner. Slightly underwhelmed by what I've seen there. Keane's continuing his development, which is obviously to be expected, but good to see. De Jong is doing well in training. One of a few players who, of course, we've promoted to the senior team just to kind of shadow some of the older players. It's looking good for him. Gonalons wants to discuss contracts. I'm hoping he's going to be reasonable with his demands here as a backup player. You've been very reasonable. Probably because I've just offered him a 4-year contract without really thinking about it. Which will take him till he's 35. To be honest, I like him a lot as a homegrown player. And whilst 4 years is probably twice as long as I should have offered a contract for, if I pull out, he's probably going to kick up a massive fuss. Aberdeen want Glenn Kamara. You know what? He's been kicking up a fuss about wanting to leave. We've got Gonalons coming in. It's a like-for-like change. It's another French player joining our ranks, which is, I feel like, always a good thing, really. Trincao back from injury is good news. I mean, it's all coming up Millhouse. It's all just looking quite good right now, isn't it? I'm just wondering, in terms of non-transfer listed French players, if there's any that we should really be looking at. I mean, we could bring in Benzema, but I feel like his wages are probably going to be a little bit out of our budget. It's crazy how much money he's on at Madrid. No team is going to match that. He is not going to find a club unless he lowers his expectations. Just looking through the most valuable French players here just to see if there's anyone who's super standout. Is it bad that I still kind of want to bring back Lacazette? Is that bad? Please let me know. Edouard has ended up at Benfica. He looks okay as a striker, but £26 million, I feel like he's overvalued for the player that he is. That's not to say he's a bad player, to be clear, but I've seen better. This guy, is it Cuisance? Very good centre mid. I see him come up a lot in Football Manager. Probably worth just getting a scout report on him, to be honest. In fact, it's probably worth getting a scout report on a lot of the players here just to kind of get a general overview of some of the best young and kind of, not necessarily young, but just the most valuable French talent. Get it on our radar a little bit more. Some of the players we should probably be keeping an eye out on. Players like Cyprien. He used to be way better in FM, I feel like. I was really underwhelmed then as I clicked on him. Thought he was going to be good. He was not. To put it gently, that's probably a little bit of an understatement. Players like Guendouzi, who's available for loan. See, I'd love to sign him permanently, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Equally, I don't really want to loan him. With a player like him, sure, great signing, would definitely offer us something to our team. But in bringing him in, what are we actually achieving? Really, we are taking away a potential first-team opportunity that could go to one of our other young players who needs that first-team football that Guendouzi would be getting in order to develop, and it's something that I'm not really willing to sacrifice. Keane continuing to develop well, more of the young signings. Terry is playing outside of his agreed position. I'm not overly concerned about that, in truth. I don't know, I feel like the Gonalons deal in for Glenn Kamara out is just smart. Yes, I shouldn't have offered Gonalons a contract as long as I did offer him. That was a mistake. If I tried to lower it, I have no doubt in my mind he would have just bailed out the negotiations, and I feel like it's just worth biting the bullet on that mistake. From a financial perspective, we're not hamstrung by any means. I know we've had quite low budgets and we've always been quite close to our wage budget. The club has more money now than at any other point whilst I've been in charge, in terms of midway through a season. The finances here have been perfectly well managed by me. in terms of the transfer money spent and what we've got in. Jovic is going to join us at the end of his contract. I think that's a good deal. £25,000 a week. I can live with that. I've got a few loan offers, but we can't loan out anyone else. He's got potential. He has not realised it at Benfica, it would be fair to say, but there's still time for him, I feel like, to at least partially reach it. And as far as strikers go, not going to count as foreign. He's young, got potential, consistent performer, not big wage demands at all either. £25,000 is really good. Benfica want £2.3 million for us to sign him immediately. Gondelons has decided to extend his contract. Maulida has had an offer from Nice. Now, we almost went in for Maulida, you might remember, for like 30 million previously. Nice have had a rough season. And he is now available. And he is homegrown at club. I really want to go in for him. He's playing for a really struggling Nice and doing well. But in order for me to go in for him, I almost certainly have to have Bertrand Traoré leaving. Like, there's no other way from a financial perspective it works. I wonder if we could sign him with a loan back deal. I mean, equally, we could just offer not to sign him back immediately. But what about if we sign him, then offer... There's probably no point in loaning him back. I'm probably better off offering to sign him at the end of the season and seeing what they say. See, they're a little more open to that because they don't want to lose their key player midway through the season. Equally, it might not be until the end of the season that I'm able to sign him, but I don't want to miss out on an opportunity to bring him in, given how things are looking currently for us. I'm going to do a little bit with instalments here. So we're going to offer 14 million up front, and then I'm going to offer £7 million over 3 years. Decline to make an immediate decision. I feel like that would be good for us. It would allow us to sign him within our current budget. He would join us at the end of the year, so we haven't, the summer to try and get rid of one of our wingers. It'll almost certainly be Bertrand Traoré. He can also play as a striker, which is nice. I know we've got in Luka Jovic, but he's a very low-risk transfer in terms of, what we've brought him in to do. If he develops, great. If he doesn't develop, it's not a massive amount of money. It's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah, it could potentially be, good for us. I feel like the Maulida deal, if we can make it happen. We'll have to wait. Man City make an offer for Lenglet, 41 million with clauses, just not good enough. Nice are stalling. I do not appreciate that, Nice. I do not appreciate your negotiation tactics. I want business decisions made on the fly. I want business decisions made now. I don't want you messing me around and making me wait. It's not how I roll. Okay, our Maulida offer's been accepted. Juventus are interested and PSG are interested. There's big clubs interested in him. He's homegrown at our club. I can't afford not to go in for him, I feel like. Especially now at half the price we were looking at the start of the season. I feel like if you were one of the people who was a bit uncomfortable about the amount of money it was potentially going to cost us to sign him then, and the fact that we're getting him in, with clauses is pretty nice. It doesn't have the craziest demands either. Wants a wage rise after international games. I'm willing to give him a wage rise, but I don't want it to be as big as what he's hoping for. He wants a 5-year deal, which is good. He wants to commit long-term future to the club. I'm going to lower the wages down to 45 just to see if we can negotiate our way there. I mean, he seems pretty open to the negotiations. I'm a little bit paranoid that if another team has bid on him, that we've kind of lowballed him a little bit with that contract offer. Don't get me wrong, it's a pretty good offer still. Have they accepted the Marseille offer? I'm not sure. Because if they have, I might need to offer him slightly more. Or maybe the pull of Club World Cup champions is big enough. I'm not entirely sure, though. I'd be interested to know, would you sign Maulida for that £21 million agreed fee? Marseille are making offers for him. Has it been accepted? Has it been rejected? I feel like the fact that we're willing to not sign him immediately is probably helping us quite a lot in terms of swaying Nice to prefer our deal. You can see a load of players here with contracts expiring who we're looking to sign. Halilovic, what a player he used to be in Football Manager a little while ago. Andre Wisdom. Where is he? I feel like he went to Turkey for a while. Did I dream that? I don't even know. Who am I thinking? I'm thinking of Steve Corker. Two players who both played for Liverpool at the same time. Both English. Chanfaloglu's available. He's good. He's not great, is he? I mean that in the nicest possible way. I don't mean that as a dig. Obviously, in real life, he's known for his incredible free kicks, but in Football Manager terms, beyond that, there's not a great deal to be excited about. Atleti have made a bid for Mendy of 37 million. Absolutely not. Awful deal. Lengler offer 41 million from Real Madrid. Absolutely not. Terrible deal. Man, I hope Lenglet's going to stay happy at the club and not going to try and force a move. I really like him at centre-back for us. Really, really like him at centre-back. And I do not appreciate him potentially getting unsettled. He's got 2.5 years left on his current deal. He doesn't want to offer take a new contract offer at this time due to the interest being shown in him. Let's hope this isn't the start of his head being turned, because he really has been a crucial player for us. You can see we've got Saint-Etienne tomorrow in game. It will also be tomorrow in real life that we get into that game. We're going to have some crucial players missing for it, and we might not have a left-back. We might be playing Lala at left-back. Mendy's not happy. Toussaint, can you sort him out? No. Mendy wants to go to Atletico Madrid. Mendy, how long's left on your current deal? 3.5 years. I'm going to tell him that I've made your decision. You have to stay. I'm not going to sell you. I'm not going to sell you. I know you might not be happy about it, but you've got a contract at the club. I expect you to serve it out. I have decided here to sell Glenn Kamara, even though we aren't now getting in Gonalons, just because he's been asking to leave. He's really not played that much for us either. So I felt like it's perhaps in our interest just to let him go. This guy is very, very good, isn't he, at 10 mid? I don't want to get his name wrong, but we'll go with Cuisance. I don't know. I feel like I've read a little bit about him as kind of a player for the future. You can see he's been playing for Gladbach here for a number of years. Looks like a very, very talented player. Incredible passing range. Potential successor to Fekir. Certainly could go into that bracket where if we did sell Fekir for £100 million, he would be a player we would almost certainly be able to afford with the funds that come up. Obviously trying to replace Fekir is pretty impossible, but we could give it a go. Obviously, we're scouting through lots of different French players here, so a variety showing up with different ratings. Maulida quite highly rated on that list. Upamecano, is it Upamecano? Answers on the postcard. He could be an alternative if we were to lose Lenglet or Lenglet. Maybe he would be the man to bring in. Equally, he would be a pretty good addition just to the team now. Oh, I could ask the board to sign him. Is it bad that I really actually want to do it? We've got £75 million in the bank. We've got money to spend. Maybe later. Karamo could potentially join us. Not got the best current ability. He's young and French though. Not a big amount of money. Kind of player who I'm confident we could sell on in the coming years. Hopefully for a bit of money, even if we do struggle to sell him like the few of the players we offered out earlier here. Quietly confident that we could actually get a reasonable sum of money in return. Obviously, Nkunku, there is some interest in him. Who's interested? A few teams interested in loaning him in. Don't really want to loan him out. I want to sell him. And it's a similar story with Francisco Ramos as well, who has some interest in him, although it's probably loan offers. Indeed it is. Let's lower our asking price on him just to 6 million. I'm also going to put him to transfer listed. We shall see if we get any offers for him. A load more French players here, by the way, that we scouted. We can just mark all those as red, I think. Of course, there could be one player in here who we're missing. Can I live with myself knowing that I didn't go through them all? I think I will survive. Tolisso would be an interesting one. Homegrown at club as well. Part of me wonders if I was to ask the board to sign him, would they do it? I do like the idea of bringing back players like Tolisso, players like Maulida, players like Gonalons. If the opportunity comes out, Lacazette, Gabels, we've already brought back. You know, Lyon are traditionally a selling club. We are currently now in a situation where it doesn't feel like we're a team that has to sell anymore. You know, we can actually stand on our own 2 feet and just make things work. But anyway, I'm conscious of the fact we've got this Saint-Etienne game coming up. It's been one of those longer episodes where it's kind of a lot of menu stuff and kind of dilemmas, I guess, for the transfer window. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode, though, guys. I know some of you guys are just really big fans of the episodes where I do ramble along. This has certainly been one of those. Let me know what you make of the Maulida deal. Would you sign him? Do you think it's worth doing? With the Mendy situation, should we maybe look to sell him? Look, we'd be weaker without Mendy. We'd be weaker. I don't want him to go. Well, at least everyone but Rajkovic agreed with me. But no, we're in a good little situation, I feel like, here, other than Mendy kicking up a fuss. Some planning for the future, as I said, down in the comments, let me know. Maulida, yes, no, maybe. If you don't know, I can repeat the question. Just a reminder, you're not the boss of me now. I will make the decision ultimately myself. Okay, let's stop with the Malcolm in the middle references, Jack. He looks good, to be honest. He looks very good, and he's homegrown at club, which is a big, big Brucey bonus. I feel like Luka Jovic joining us on a free. Yes, he's got some development to do, but low-key, just a very, very good bit of business as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, guys, I've rambled on for long enough today. Hopefully you have enjoyed. I will see you again on the next one. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.